So, Mrs. Joe Biden put out a video on Twitter today. Sorry, Shitter, Xitter. I keep forgetting the new name, pardon me. And first things first, if you're waiting for me to call her Dr. Jill, then you are in for a hell of a long wait. Because if the only reason you went and got your fake doctorate is because you don't like being called Mrs. Joe Biden, and you actually tell people that in public, then I am going to call you Mrs. Joe Biden right up until the heat death of the universe, and that's just all there is to it. And in the video description, Mrs. Joe Biden wrote the following, quote, "A bit of magic, wonder, and joy brought to you by the talented tappers of Dorrance Dance, performing their playful interpretation of the Nutcracker Suite," end quote. And my God, that's almost too much alliteration even for me. And I thought I was the most ardent advocate of alliteration anywhere. Now, before I hit play on this thing, I am going to give you, the viewer, an ample opportunity to turn away if you don't wish to see it, because this is something that you can't unsee. It will live inside your brain forever. There's no amount of psychotherapy, no amount of electroshock treatment, no cocktail of mind-altering medications that will purge this shit from your cerebellum. So I'm just saying, consider yourself to have been fairly warned before we proceed. And the video is only 144 seconds in length, but believe you me, you are going to feel every single one of those seconds. All right, this is your last chance to pull the ejection handle. 5, 4, 3, 2, roll the video, Jim Eagle. Now, there's a lot to unpack here, obviously, but you're among friends and we will all get through this together. The first thing you'll notice is that this video abides by the standard rules of all video content created by conscientious, woke progressives here in the third decade of the 21st century, which is to say, at least 75% of the on-camera talent has to be black. In order for any white dudes to appear, they have to stay in the background, and they must be flamboyant homosexuals or transgenders. Frankly, I was half expecting Admiral Danglin Dick Levine to show up in a nice, flowy, lacy Stevie Nicks sort of a dress, doing a series of flawless pirouettes. It's too bad our friend Sam Brinton went to prison for being a serial luggage thief. He would have been perfect for this thing. And if anybody from the CIA is watching, and there's probably a non-zero chance that they really are, I think this video could be a very valuable tool for our national security. You know that scene from A Clockwork Orange where they strap Malcolm McDowell into a dentist chair and pin his eyes open and bombard him with horrifically unpleasant sounds and images? And you know how the CIA has that whole global network of black site torture chambers that we're not supposed to talk about? I'm just saying, you take a terrorist, strap him into the chair Malcolm McDowell style, deprive him of the ability to close his eyes or shut his ears, and play this video on a permanent loop, that dude is going to crack and beg for mercy before you ever make it to the second play. Before you ever hit the 144-second mark, that guy is going to start singing like Enrico freaking Caruso. He will give you the names of all his associates, the locations of all the secret weapons caches, all the details of any operations that are upcoming on the schedule. Just please, 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 for the love of Allah, don't make me watch Mrs. Joe Biden's holiday video a second time. Bring in the dogs, bring in the naked ladies, burn 1,000 Qurans in front of my face, strip my ass naked, burn my exposed genitals with a fucking cigarette, do any damn thing you want. Except for playing that awful evil video again. I surrender, America wins, game over. And are we done with the Biden family for tonight? Oh no, not by a long shot, we ain't. Hit the music, Jim Eagle. From atop the battlements of Castle Curmudgeon, where burning your exposed genitals with a cigarette falls under the heading of light foreplay. Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. Welcome to the program. I am your eponymous host and humble servant. And as you quite likely will have heard by now, presidential son, stripper impregnating crackhead, deadbeat dad, amateur porn star, professional finger painter, and drunk driving serial tax evading child sex trafficker Hunter Biden added yet another offense to his already illustrious track record of criminal malfeasance on Wednesday, when he simply refused to comply with a lawfully issued subpoena to appear in a closed session of the House Oversight Committee. He still showed up at the Capitol, mind you, but not to do the thing he was required by law to do. He chose instead, for reasons that escape the comprehension not only of this reporter, but probably any other sane person, to stand in the shadow of the Capitol dome and declare, in between frantic nose wipes, that he is the real victim here. Frankly, if you ever wanted to see a perfect snapshot of what a lifetime of enabling and self-delusion and unwarranted privilege can do to a grown man's brain, here it fucking is. And let's just go ahead and start rolling the tape, because there is much to unpack here.
Good morning. I'm here today to answer at a public hearing any legitimate questions Chairman Comer and the House Oversight Committee may have for me.
My God, man, we were only 12 seconds in and homeboy has already gone completely off the rails because, dude, I know this may come as a rather severe shock, but you are not the one who gets to make the rules here. When the House Oversight Committee subpoenas you to testify in a closed hearing, you don't get to demand a public hearing, and you sure as shit don't get to only answer questions that you deem legitimate. That is not how any of this works. Also, you will notice that he's staring down at the text the whole time he is speaking, because obviously he didn't write this shit himself. He probably saw it for the first time less than 5 minutes ago, and whoever it was that wrote it, let's just say they're not doing him any favors. The best advice a lawyer can ever give to his client is 4 words long, and it goes like this: shut the hell up. Also, do feel free to straighten your damn tie before you speak on national television, you fucking sloppy fool.
I'm here today to make sure that the House Committee's illegitimate investigations of my family do not proceed on distortions, manipulated evidence, and lies. And I'm here today to acknowledge that I've made mistakes in my life.
Oh, you don't say. There's the understatement of the goddamn century.
And wasted opportunities and privileges I was afforded. For that, I'm responsible. For that, I'm accountable. And for that, I'm making amends. But I'm also here today to correct how the MAGA right has portrayed me for their political purposes.
Ah, yes, the MAGA, right? Those evil, awful bastards unfairly persecuting this decent, upstanding citizen. It makes me sick, it does.
I am first and foremost a son, a father, a brother, and a husband from a loving and supportive family.
Dude, you're a 53-year-old man, and you're a son, first and foremost? Is that something you really want to have said?
I'm proud to have earned degrees from Georgetown University and Yale Law School. I'm proud of my legal career and business career. I'm proud of my time serving on a dozen different boards of directors. And I'm proud of my efforts to forge global business relationships.
Wait, aren't you a proud formal naval officer too? Oh, wait, that's right. You popped a dirty piss test on your first day in the service as a 41-year-old ensign. Never mind.
For 6 years, MAGA Republicans, including members of the House committees who are in a closed-door session right now, have impugned my character, invaded my privacy.
In other words, I took thousands of pictures and hundreds of hours of video of myself engaging in all manner of sexual profligacy and various other forms of moral turpitude. I left it all on a laptop that I abandoned at a computer repair shop, and I am the victim of the privacy invasion. All right, pal. You're just like that slut in Virginia who solicited campaign contributions by getting sodomized on camera in exchange for cash instead of helping her kids with their homework. You've both had your privacy invaded, and it is all the fault of those damn MAGA Republicans.
Attacked my wife, my children, my family, and my friends. They have ridiculed my struggle with addiction. They belittled my recovery.
Does anybody actually believe this idiot has been sober one day in his life? I'm reminded of the scene on the White House balcony on the 4th of July when a giddy, beaming Hunter kept wiping his nose every 5 seconds. Yes, sir, you are indeed the picture of sobriety. So stunning, so brave. And that totally wasn't your bag of coke that got left outside the Situation Room. I bet Trump put it there. And I bet Putin helped.
And they have tried to dehumanize me, all to embarrass and damage my father, who has devoted his entire public life to service.
I think you meant to say devoted his entire life to public service? And by public service, you mean sending me, his little boy, gallivanting around the globe, picking up giant bags of bribe money from the enemies of the United States.
For 6 years, I have been the target of the unrelenting Trump attack machine, shouting, "Where's Hunter?" Well, here's my answer. I am here.
Yeah, you're actually supposed to go inside the building, dude. This ain't horseshoes or hand grenades. You don't get points for being in the general vicinity. I know this may come as a shock.
Let me state as clearly as I can. My father was not financially involved in my business, not as a practicing lawyer, not as a board member of Burisma, not in my partnership with a Chinese private businessman, not in my investments at home nor abroad, and certainly not as an artist.
Oh, so your dad didn't help with your little finger paintings? Good, I'm glad we finally got that cleared up. That is a real load off my mind.
During my battle with addiction, my parents were there for me. They literally saved my life. They helped me in ways that I will never be able to repay.
By making sure I always had a steady supply of cash with which to buy drugs and hookers. We should all be blessed with such loving and devoted parents.
And of course, they would never expect me to. And in the depths of my addiction, I was extremely irresponsible with my finances.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned this, Hunter, because I heard your lawyer say just the other day that between 2016 and 2019, you were so off your head on drugs that you weren't even capable of filing an income tax return. But somehow, some way, at the exact same time, you were lucid enough to be pulling down a $58,000 a month salary to sit on the board of a Ukrainian energy conglomerate. So how exactly are we supposed to reconcile the one thing with the other? Bueller?
But to suggest that is grounds for an impeachment inquiry is beyond the absurd. It's shameless. There is no evidence to support the allegations that my father was financially involved in my business because it did not happen.
My God, they have moved the goalposts so many times, I don't think they're even inside the stadium anymore. They're somewhere out in the parking lot. Whatever happened to I have never once spoken to my son or any member of my family about their businesses? And what about those family group emails wherein you, Hunter Biden, bitched and moaned about your dad making everybody give him half their salaries? Is that the new operative definition for not financially involved? Is that what we're going with?
James Comer, Jim Jordan, Jason Smith, and their colleagues have distorted the facts by cherry-picking lines from a bank statement, manipulating texts I sent, editing the testimony of my friends and former business partners, and misstating personal information that was stolen from me.
Nothing was stolen from you, Hunter. You signed a legally binding document saying you would forfeit ownership of the computer after 90 days of non-payment. Nobody forced you to do that. Not Jim Comer or Jim Jordan or Rudy Giuliani or any goddamn buddy else.
There is no fairness or decency in what these Republicans are doing. They have lied over and over about every aspect of my personal and professional life.
Name the lies, be specific. I dare you.
So much so that their lies have become the false facts believed by too many people. No matter how many times it is debunked, they continue to insist that my father's support of Ukraine against Russia is the result of a non-existent bribe. They displayed naked photos of me during an oversight hearing.
Oh, you mean the naked photos that you voluntarily uploaded to the internet when you were doing rails of coke off the tits of your friend's underage daughter? Those photos? Or different ones? There are so damn many of them, it's difficult to keep track sometimes.
And they have taken the light of my dad's love, for me, and presented it as darkness. They have no shame.
Wow, Hunter Biden telling other people they have no shame. The guy who dumped a bag of Skittles on his dick and was so pleased with himself he took a dozen pictures of it. Alrighty then.
These same committee chairmen have engaged in unprecedented political interference in what would have already been a 5-year investigation of me. Yet, here I am, Mr. Chairman, taking up your offer when you said...
Look, I'm sorry, you idiot, but a subpoena is not an offer. This is not a negotiation. You had a legal obligation to fulfill, and you declined to fulfill it, which seems a strange course of action when you are already facing a 12-count indictment, including 3 felonies.
We can bring these people in for depositions or committee hearings, whichever they choose. Well, I've chosen. I am here to testify at a public hearing today.
In other words, I will only testify in a setting where the Democrats on the committee can stall and grandstand and run out the clock with fake procedural bullshit so that I can avoid answering basically any questions at all. Oh, Daddy, hit me with another blast of your moral righteousness!
To answer any of the committee's legitimate questions. Republicans do not want an open process where Americans can see their tactics, expose their baseless inquiry, or hear what I have to say. What are they afraid of? I'm here. I'm ready.
Hunter, are you ready to go?
Why not testify now, sir? Why not testify now?
Well, they're probably afraid of you whipping your dick out again, since that seems to be your preferred response to most things. Hunter Biden, ladies and gentlemen, paragon of morality and virtue and righteous indignation. Thanks very much indeed for watching. See you Sunday, blast radius, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, and you will want to tune in this week for the world premiere of Harmony Unleashed. What is Harmony Unleashed, you ask? Well, I went to ChatGPT and I typed in Write me a Disney Plus series about a strong, powerful woman of color who don't need no man for nothing. And it vomited out 10 whole episodes of some of the most delicious woke bullshit you have ever tasted, so you don't want to miss this one. Until then, have a great day and a pleasant tomorrow. Do not comply. Get off my lawn.